Again, I want to welcome everybody again to the Project Letting Seminar for June. This is a June letting seminar. I am Dr. Golston, or Sam Golston, the director of the Mentor-Protege Program. We have on our staff Christine Lewis, who did a lot of the background work here and setting up and helping you get registered. We have Ronica Ondoxson. She'll be also presenting the lettings, some of the lettings today. We had Mr. Taylor, who was just on the phone, Don Taylor, our subject matter expert there with small business and development. And then not on the phone is Dr. Brian Messimer, that's from our UAH Mentor-Protege Program. The whole purpose of our program is to align DBEs with prime contractors as the mentor-protege relationship with the main idea is increasing the capabilities of the DBEs, as well as hopefully filling the need for the prime contractor in an environment where they can get some support from supportive services, in particular the Mentor-Protege Program, in helping develop those DBEs that hopefully they can use in future work opportunities. So we take those DBEs in, we do a needs assessment, and from that needs assessment, we help develop those specific skills working with the prime contractor. So that's kind of the idea of our program. We set up these seminars. The purpose of these seminars is make sure, for the most part, the DBEs have all the resources they need to bid next week on this particular seminar. So if they got any questions, if they have any needs, they can come to us as a Mentor-Protege Program and our resources to make sure we can get those bids in. There's also on the line the other supportive services. I'll give them a chance here to introduce themselves. They can go to the supportive services that's in the area, and there's resources available to make sure that the DBEs that want to bid have all the resources and tools available to them so they can submit a quality bid to the prime contractors. And also another use of this seminar is if a prime contractor knows they're going to need some bids, some quality bids from DBEs, they can use this seminar platform to make those requests known to the DBEs that are on the line, as well as supportive services, so we can go out and help vet those DBEs for the particular work types that a prime contractor may be needing for next week's letting. So we're going to try to get you out of here in an hour. But the whole purpose is to introduce you to maybe those contacts that you can follow up with after this seminar to make sure you get the resources and tools you need to be successful. So I'm going to go now and let the other supportive services that are on the line just quickly introduce themselves. So if you are DB in an area, you'll know who to contact. And again, these slides are on the website, and you'll be able to go there and get that contact information and reach out to any one of us for the support. So let's start in the north with A&M and Danielle.
Good morning. My name is Danielle Barnes. I'm the director for ALDOT, AAMU DBE Supportive Services, and we cover the North region. And I believe on the line with me is my assistant, Miss Natoya Sterling. Miss Sterling?
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning. I think I saw Donald Mills or Sherry from West Alabama.
Good morning, everyone. Sherry Stoudemire, Assistant Director at the University of West Alabama. And we serve the South, I believe the Southwest and the Central area. And Donald Mills is the director. I don't think he's gotten on yet. He's on another call.
Thank you. And Cynthia, Mike, I didn't see if you were on yet, but if you are. Cynthia, Madlock, and Mike Self are from the southern region from Supportive Services.
Central.
So
Central.
Central region, Doc.
Okay, Central region. Okay, sorry. Thanks. Thanks.
Dr. Golston?
Yes.
I'm sorry, I forgot. We have our program coordinator, Linda Delane. She's on the call as well.
Thank you. And if there are any DBs or primes in any of those areas mentioned, reach out to them for support in your area. And then, of course, you can reach out to the Mentor-Protege Program. We're all over the state, but we work closely with those supportive services, help develop the capabilities of DBEs and support our prime contractor community. So you can see our agenda today. We're going to jump kind of right into our letting information. And then we'll have input from primes in the question and answering period as we go along. So I'm going to ask, if you will, to hold your questions down to those periods, and then we'll make sure we get it answered.
Dr. Goldston, I just want to interject a couple of things. One, can everybody please mute their microphones because there's some feedback. Just unmute when you have a question or a comment. And also, does Mr. Huffman want to say a few words?
Good morning, everyone. This is John Huffman from Montgomery, Alabama, ALDOT headquarters. I welcome you to this bid letting seminar. Hope that everyone can hear me clearly. This is an opportunity for ALDOT, its prime contractor colleagues, its DBE colleagues, supportive services, mentor-protege program, and supportive services program to all work in a collaborative measure to ensure that information gets out regarding the upcoming ALDOT letting. Within that letting, everyone knows is upcoming projects for bid. Within those projects are opportunities for bid based on work type by and for DBEs. So please listen intently, ask questions when something comes up that you may not be sure of, but please listen and ask questions, because that's the only way we're going to get through this and get something of quality out of it. Again, thank you for your time.
Oops. Are we ready for the next slide?
Yes.
Hey, good morning, everybody.
Ronica, before you go, let me just say I am monitoring the chat room. So if somebody does have a question there, you can send it through the chat, and I'll be responding and capturing that as well.
Okay, thank you. I'm Ronica Ondoxon. I work with the Mentor-Protege Program at UAH, and every month I go over some of the projects that are in the letting. We have been doing this by region of the state. This month we would have been back to Huntsville. There are not a lot of projects in the North region this time, so we decided, since it's a kind of a short list of letting projects, that we would take some from all over the state. So we have about, I think, 9 or 10 maybe that we're going to go over and just give you some information about. Next slide. Our first project is Pickens County. It has a 5% DBE goal. This is a bridge replacement. As you can see from the bottom, the tentative bidders, there are lots of bidders on this project from all over the state. So, you know, if you're interested, a DBE interested in bidding on this project, lots of prime contractors to contact. It's a fairly large project in the range of $4 million. Some of the work types that I pulled, there's removal, demolition, there's hauling, there's also steel reinforcement on this project, erosion control, as you can see, lots of other seating, sodding, and bituminous scoring. We now have a DBE that is doing that. So I'm looking for those projects also when I look through these. Next slide. This one is North Alabama and Lauderdale County. It has a 6% goal, so it has a good DBE goal. The bracket, as you can see, is 1.3 to 1.6. Hauling on this one, bituminous scoring. This is pretty much just a paving job, so there are not going to be a lot of subcontract line items in the work categories on it. You can see the tentative bidders at the bottom. Joe Keenum and Mid-South are local. Rogers Group is out of Tennessee. Next slide. This is Dale County in South Alabama. 4% goal, little under $1 million in the $600,000 to $700,000 range. There are work types on this for DBEs, hauling, concrete removal, guardrail, some erosion control. Bidders, Mid-South and Wiregrass, which are big in that South area. Next slide. This project's Walker County, 3% goal, concrete removal. There is some structure excavation in this one, some steel reinforcement, so a few different work types than what we normally see in just the erosion control and some other things. The bidders are Dunn Construction and Good Hope Contracting, which are both Dunn is in Birmingham, Good Hope, I believe is Pullman area, Birmingham area, around that region. Next slide. We're back to North Alabama. This is in Lauderdale County. There's a 4% goal. This is a fairly large project, $2 million. There is bituminous scoring, guardrail, and hauling. This is kind of a strictly paving project. There are not a lot of subcontract opportunities maybe, but with the 4% goal and the $2 million estimate, it still might be a good one to look at. Bidders are Joe Keenum, Mid-South, and Rogers Group, again, out of Tennessee. Next slide. This project is Shelby County. There's only a 3% goal, but it is a larger project in this letting this month, a little over $2 million. Some of the work types are listed there. Some of the ones that we see a lot of month to month. Tentative bidders, Dunn, Wiregrass, and Good Hope. Next slide. This project is Russell County. There's a 5% goal, which is a good goal this month. Almost from $1.5 to $2 million project. Work types, erosion control, guardrail, hauling, bituminous scoring. Right now, the only tentative bidder ALDOT had was East Alabama paving. Next slide. This project's Montgomery County, 4% goal, $1 million estimate. The only different work type in this one, besides some of the ones that we have seen, there's concrete curb and gutter. So, you know, any of the DBEs and concrete work might want to check this one out. Tentative bidders are asphalt contractors, Wiregrass, and Mid-South. This is a project in Barber County, 4% goal, $1 million estimate. This is just a straight paving job. There were not many other work types on the work, the breakout. There is bituminous scoring on this one. Tentative bidders are Mid-South and Wiregrass. Next slide.
That's the end of the slides, but
that's the end of my presentation. I never know when I'm going to get to the end.
Sorry about that, Ronica. And I also think my slides are out of order. Dr. Golston, do you want to introduce, or now is the time to talk with some primes?
Okay. Yeah, there were a couple on the line. I know Scott Bridge is on the line, Mike Terrell, and we also have Garver Engineering on the line from here in Huntsville. Mike, I had asked Mike to just speak for just a couple of minutes since we really haven't had a bridge builder with us before, kind of, are there specific work types that the bridge builders look for when they're bidding on these ALDOT projects? And just give us a little background on that.
Yes, Veronica, this is Mike. Can everybody hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. It's a good question. In the bridge projects, especially the bigger ones, a little bit different. But most of your roadway items, bridge contractors sub out. So we're always looking for the grassing, guardrail, fencing, erosion control, trucking items that most people are used to. And for the structure work, what we'd like to see developed in Alabama, if anybody's listening wants to venture out in something different, is we need more reinforcing steel installers in Alabama. There's only a couple, and as our program gets more robust, the industry needs some more contractors in that area, which we're always looking for. I think right now, as you can see, the lettings are a little bit smaller going through the summer. They traditionally always are towards the end of the fiscal year, but starting in the fall with the new fiscal year funding, we see them pick back up, especially if Congress passes some type of transportation bill here in the next few weeks. We'll see a big increase in work, and that could be good for all of us, and the market will pick up some. So just be ready for a bunch more work. But that's about it, unless anybody's got any questions.
I know we have one DBE on. Kay Cole with GSE. Kay, are you on? Okay, maybe not. I know Hey, Kay, is that you? Yeah. I was just going to tell Mike, GSE does drilling and blasting, and they had been looking to do some work for ALDOT. And I know, Mike, you and I had emailed about this. I didn't know if Kay had any questions for you or not.
Yes, Kay, it's interesting to see your company. Hopefully you can get some work out of this. It's look for some of the, if we start getting some roadway projects, especially in the north part of the state where there's a lot of rock, the drilling and blasting is big, and should be a market for some of the roadway contractors and even some of the bridge contractors for doing drilling for line drilling and stuff for blasting, and then for testing too. I don't know if you do drilling for testing companies, but the more structures there are, the more drilling there's going to be for soil borings and things like that.
Okay. Does anybody else have questions for Mike?
Yeah, this is John here at ALDOT here in Montgomery. Mike, you mentioned about a need in the industry for DBEs who may want to add an additional work type in steel reinforcement or steel tying, so to speak.
Yes.
From a bridge builder standpoint, and you also are a contractor in journey as well, are there other work types aside from steel tying that might be something that DBs would consider venturing off into as an additional work type area from that current work type that they perform now? Are there others that you might recommend as possible work types that DB should be interested in venturing off into?
Yeah, I think, we've got the basics covered, a lot of things that are subcontracted out already. I think, possibly if we get a road program and we get some more bigger projects, and look for some opportunities in like traffic signs or electrical, some other specialties, maybe sanitary sewer, water line, especially water lines, things like that.
Okay.
And they're probably, right now I think we've got a pretty robust amount of truckers for hauling asphalt and dirt and gravel and things. But as the volume picks up, we're going to need more, in different areas. And people keep an eye on that, because there's always a shortage of trucks.
I hope that the DBESS providers on the line, I'm sure they were very attentive to what you said, Mike, and also some of the DBEs who may possibly be on the line as well. Mike gave everyone some tips or some recommendations as to what he sees in the upcoming future based on growth in the industry and ALDOT projects being let, so to speak, as to what DBs could consider as areas to diversify themselves into. It's always good to have a primary work type, but also consider having additional work type areas that you have experience in to perform and have performed for others, and consider venturing off into those areas as well that Mike mentioned. Because we are trying, as I stated earlier at the start of this seminar, we're trying to ensure that opportunities, DBs are aware of opportunities in upcoming ALDOT lettings for bid to those tentative bidders that Ms. Undoxon just covered in her various slides.
Mike, this is Sam Ghoston. Not to put you on the spot, but a lot of times we talk to DBEs and they say, we know we had the lowest price, but we didn't get the work. Can you talk a little bit about, from Scott Bridge standpoint, all of the criteria you look at, not just the price, but all of the criteria you may look at when a DBE submits you a bid for work?
Okay, good question, Doctor. I think a relationship so that the primes know the capability of the subcontractor is very, very important. Sometimes we'll get a quote like 5 minutes before bid time, and it might be lower in price, but there's not enough information and we've never heard of that person before, and you don't know if they can perform, don't know what their organization is. So it's always important to establish yourself ahead of time, either send out a flyer a week before or 3 or 4 days before a letting with what you're proposing to bid and your capabilities, and maybe even try to contact somebody. And then, when you've gotten a price in, those estimators for those different companies will know a little more about your company. As all contractors, doesn't make any difference, DB, regular, prime, sub, whatever, we all are looking at the bottom line. We're going to use the most economical number, but if you're not sure if the number is good or the person can perform, then you question that a little bit. So there might be some people may be faced with saying, well, I was 3 cents lower than the other guy. I know I was, but the other guy might be doing it for 5 years and and establish a relationship, and they don't know you. So that's very important. Try to be involved maybe in some organizations, whether it's AGC or Alabama Road Builders Association, to get information and to know everybody in the industry is very helpful. And I think, Dr. Golson and Donald's, what they've been doing in training and things, I think that helps subcontractors to know what a prime wants or is looking for, and won't question it. If we know that the person knows how to bid and knows his price is good and it can do the work. That's some of the keys.
So, Mr. Mike, you're saying that if a DBE attaches their capability statement to their bid, that would be very beneficial for them?
It would. What I'm saying is try to do that ahead of time.
Okay.
Not bid morning, and make sure you got your bid in, a couple hours before 10 o'clock. It's not like 5 minutes till 10 and estimator's got 15 things going on all at the same time, and he just doesn't have time to investigate each bid. Try to make that association ahead of time. If you can call a prime and say, hey, email or whatever, say, we're going to bid, we're going to bid this guardrail on this job next week. Appreciate you looking at our price, just so they know ahead of time, not at the last minute.
Thanks, Mike.
You're welcome.
I think I saw, did I see Alabama Road Builder? I don't know if Mr. Layfield was on or if he wanted to have anything to comment now. You did mention right there, Mike, that maybe we should look at joining some of these associations as DBEs and just to start building those relationships.
Yeah, that's very important. And it is so much better as an industry for suppliers, subcontractors, and primes to be together in communication and in direct contact with each other. It just helps the industry to be better. And, joining these different organizations, some people say, well, I can't afford it, it's too expensive. Well, you have to look at the future. The organizations allow you to have a way to communicate with each other, plus they have a lobbying interest to allow you to talk to your legislators, and it just benefits the industry as a whole. So, you get what you pay for, is what they say.
Mike is the president of the association.
Until September.
Okay, are there any other prime contractors at this point who would like to introduce themselves or have something to say for DBEs or what they might be looking for? All right, thanks. Then I guess we can go to the next part, and then at the end we can come back for another round of questions.
Good morning, you all.
Good morning.
Just a brief overview again of the DOT system that we rolled out. We've actually disseminated login information to clients throughout the DBE service areas. So we're seeing some of the DBEs that are actually going in, taking a look, and and just playing around with the system to see what's out there. So we certainly encourage that. We've also made that information available to the other supportive service providers. Again, as we said during our initial rollout of the Dodge Central system, that this is a tool that's made available for DBEs to take a look at other contract opportunities outside of the ALDOT market that are available. And what we've been doing in our initial contact with newly certified DBEs is making them aware of the Dodge system, sharing that information with them as well. And we're monitoring those who are taking a look at the system. For those who missed the tutorial workshop virtual training that we did a couple of weeks ago, Dodge has made available individual tutorials twice a week. There is a Tuesday and a Thursday tutorial for anyone that missed the virtual training. You can actually sign up or register for one of those training and get an in-depth overview of the system. Ms. Stoudemire here at UWA have set up 3 email portals that are made available to individuals utilizing the Dodge system for them to receive emails documenting the projects that they're interested in and that they're tracking. So again, we're excited to be able to provide this resource. So if you have any questions or if you have not gotten a login or access to that Dodge system, feel free to reach out to Ms. Stoudemire or myself or Ms. Delane, and we'll be glad to get that information to you.
And that information is available on the seminar website. And there's a link to that, to the seminar website at the uah.edu website. So on the topic of websites, for those DBEs out there who do not have a website set up already, I wanted to take a minute to demystify the assumption that having a website is too expensive or difficult. And by the way, this is Christine Lewis with the Mentor-Protege Program. If you can drive a car, you can build a website. There's a learning curve, but it's a worthwhile investment. Some of you may be relying on Facebook and or Google business listings as your sole online presence. But if you can figure out how to navigate those 2 tools, you can figure out how to do a website. And one of the easiest website building programs out there, in my opinion, is Wix. I'm not being paid to promote them, but I've used them quite a bit in the past. And to use Wix, you create an account, you pay for a domain name, and you can use their artificial intelligence program to create a design that you can then adjust and modify to your own needs. Wix has consultants available 24/7 to walk you through the process. You can either access them, I think the easiest way is probably to access them through a chat. So when you or the lowest level staffer who has an inkling for technology in your company, when you're plotting through the process, Wix consultants are there to help you out. Or you can watch a Wix presentation on how to build a website that I've made available, a link to it on the Mentor-Protege Program resources page. It's under the business development heading, and it's how to make a website through Wix. So, and if you need further assistance, I believe your supportive services providers can either walk you through the process or refer you to usually the small business development centers in your region. And this is a good segue to the next slide, which is about upcoming events. I'm hosting a small business marketing basics workshop in July. And today, Alabama A&M University has a Microsoft Teams workshop. So Ms. Barnes or Ms. Sterling, do you want to say a few words about that?
Hey, this is Ms. Barnes, and I'll yield to Ms. Sterling as well. Right, we're having the part 2 of our part 1, how to do business virtually, and making sure that you're using the virtual platform for business continuity. So this is part 2 in terms of giving an overview of Microsoft Teams. Microsoft Teams is a free component that comes with Microsoft 365. So some of you may have it, some of your DBEs may have it, and we're just kind of trying to give a good overview of how to use it. Ms. Sterling, did we forget anything?
No, ma'am, I just wanted to point out that
I will say,
Oh.
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
the reason I suggested Microsoft Teams in addition to Zoom is because Microsoft Teams is more secure. So if you are sharing documents, that is a better option for you.
Yeah.
Absolutely. The registration technically has closed for the training, which is today at 1 o'clock. However, if you have DBEs or staff members that you'd like to still, participate in the training, we will register you for the training and send you or your staff members the appropriate login details. If you'll do that here within the next maybe 30 minutes, we can get you into the class still, or get your staff members into the class. Thank you so much, Christine. We appreciate it.
Sure. And I'm going to be sending everybody a PDF of this presentation. So there should be some live links for the contact information that you see right here in that PDF. And then additionally, the University of West Alabama DBE Supportive Services, in conjunction with the Small Business Development Center, has a 2-part event on automation and business technologies. Ms. Stoudemire, do you want to talk about that? Or Mr. Mills?
Christine, I'm here.
Okay. Hello.
You're correct, July 16th, and it's being presented by Alice Gordon Holloway from Sky Connect. So once we get everything and all the logistics together, we will be forwarding a link whereby participants can register to attend.
Great. Thank you.
That's it.
And if you, if anybody attending would like to speak with your DBE Supportive Services provider, this slide here has all of our contact information, their contact information. And I just want to point out that those in the north and south, to those in the north and south regions, that Mr. Claude Douglas provides estimating support to DBEs in those regions. For those in the central region, contact Mike Self at the email listed here. And that's all we've got. Dr. Golston?
So let me open it up for any questions now before we close out here. Any last minute questions? Or comments from Mr. Huffman?
I just got 1 or 2 comments, and I'll be brief. Once again, our purpose for holding these webinars was the dissemination of information from the ALDOT lettings primarily, and also training that the other DBSS providers will be holding for the benefit of our DBs to make them better trained and more of a qualified small business owner. I cannot emphasize enough the value of these seminars to our DBs. This, folk, for lack of better words, is how ALDOT does business, through its monthly bid lettings. We have participation once again by the prime contractors, who solicit quotes respective to work types to attainment of a DB goal from DBEs throughout this state based on their work type needs. So please, I encourage you as we go forward next month and months after to get the word out, spread the word about these bid letting seminars. Show interest to the prime contractors who've taken time from their schedules to attend and be available to answer questions. This is how DB community that you become informed and know how to fully utilize the resources available to you. Again, thank you for allowing me to attend and participate in this seminar. I look forward to future seminars. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Huffman. If no questions, then I'll reiterate what Mr. Huffman said. Again, supportive services, we're here to help the DBEs and the prime contractor community. So, you know, after the call is when the work should begin. So please use this contact information to reach out to us to see what resources. Donna Mills presented an excellent resource available to all DBEs. So there are other resources that are available. So make sure you are using this information here to make sure you get all the support that you need going forward. There will be this presentation will go out to everybody that is registered. I see in the chat room somebody's asking. So everybody that registered will get a copy of this presentation. So you'll have all this contact information. And I think it's also on the website as well, but I'll let Ms. Lewis tell you other ways you can get that information.
Yeah, it's not directly on the UAH website, but there's a link to it. And there's also a link to, on the seminar website, there's a link to the registration. So if you found the seminar helpful and you'd like to register for the July event, that link is available in multiple locations, and you'll also be able to access it from this presentation right here. So, yeah.
And I'm gonna give an advertisement for the UAH, the website that Christine is talking about. She's done what I think is an excellent job of trying to consolidate the information that's on the ALDOT webpage in a more user-friendly website, more intuitive to where to find things. So if you're welcome to go there and click on the links to find letting and all the information that you should need to support doing business with ALDOT. So those links there. And our goal in the future is to add more tools there, more bidding tools, more estimating tools as we develop those or get those uploaded to that website. So feel free to use that. And as well, please reach out to us. That's what we're here for, to support the prime contractors and the DBEs as we try to get more quality bids submitted, which should be win-win for everybody. If no more question or comments, we will end the letting part, and hopefully that'll start the activity to getting bids in for next week. And then we'll have the letting seminar again next month, preceding the July letting. I'd like to thank everybody, Mr. Huffman and the other supportive services for supporting the seminar. I'd like to thank again Mr. Terrell, Mr. Layfield, and other prime contractors that are on the line for supporting as well. And I ask you to stay safe out there, and we look forward to next month's letting seminar. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you for attending.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Golston.
Thank you. This was great.